Hello students, myself Brinda Patel. Today we will discuss about the discrete Fourier transform DFT of one variable. In that we will see 2D impulse and shifting property for continuous, for discrete, and 2D sampling and 2D sampling theorem, about aliasing in images and its examples, Moiri patterns, and 2D discrete Fourier transform and its inverse. So first, the discrete Fourier transform of one variable. So one of the key goals of this discrete Fourier transform is starting from a basic principles. The material is viewed as the foundation of those basic principles. So now in this, obtaining the DFT from a continuous transform of a sample function. So the Fourier transform of the sampled band limited function extending from minus infinite to infinite is a continuous periodic function that also extends from minus infinite to infinite. So here we used m and n in the preceding development of denote the discrete variable because it is typical to derivations. So it is more intuitive, especially in two dimensions, to use the notation x and y for image coordinate variables and u and v for frequency variables, where these are understood by the integers. So then equation become f mu is equal to limit is x0 to m minus 1 transform x e raised to minus j to pi mu x by m, where mu is 0 to m minus 1, and fx is equal to 1 upon m, limit is mu equal to 0 up to m minus 1, f mu into e raised to j plus j 2 pi mu x by m, x is equal to 0, 1 to up to m minus 1. So where we use the functional notation instead of subscript of in simplicity. So here clearly f mu is equal to fm and fx is equal to fn. So it is denoted as the 1D DFT pair. So now here 2D impulse and its shifting property. So the impulse delta t z of two continuous variables t and z is defined as in this equation. So here del tz is equal to, if t is equal to z is equal to 0, then infinite, otherwise it will 0. And here in the 1D case, the 2D impulse exhibits the shifting property under integration. So limit is minus infinite to infinite, integration or minus infinite to infinite, and ftz into del tz dt, tz is equal to f0 0. So one more generally for the impulse located coordinates, t0 is equal to z0 is equal to f2, here f2 f0 to z0. So here we can see the shifting property is f0 0 and minus infinite to infinite ftz del t minus t0 into z minus z0. So we can see that the shifting property yields the value of the function ftz at the location of the impulse. So for the discrete variables x and y, the 2D discrete impulse is defined as if x is equal to y is equal to 0, then 1, otherwise it will 0. So its shifting property is minus infinite to infinite, which is x, and y minus infinite to infinite, So fxy delta xy is equal to f0 0, and where fxy is a function of discrete variables x and y for the impulse located at coordinates x0 y0, the shifting property is x is equal to minus infinite to infinite, y is equal to minus infinite to infinite, fxy into delta x minus x0 into y minus y0 is equal to fx0 y0. So the shifting property of discrete impulse yields the value of the discrete function fxy at the location of impulse. So in 2D transform, 2D continuous Fourier transform pair, the ftz be a continuous function of two continuous variables t and z. So the two-dimensional continuous Fourier transform pair is given by the expressions f mu v is equal to limit is integration minus infinite to infinite into f t z e raised to minus j 2 pi mu t plus vz. Another derivation is, here is the integration to derivate the f t z is equal to f mu v e raised to j 2 pi mu t plus vz into d mu dv, where the mu and v are the frequency variables. So when referring to images, t and z are interpreted to be continuous spatial variables. So as in the 1D case, one dimensional case, the domain of the variable mu and v defines the continuous frequency domain. So here is it is containing a 2D Fourier transform of a simple function. So figure A here shows the function analogies to the 1D dimensional case. So the following procedure is similar to the one used in that example given as a result. So the this equation is f mu v, the limit is minus infinite to infinite, f tz into e raised to j 2 pi into mu t plus vz. So here we can get the limit t, which is minus t by 2 up to plus t by 2 and minus z by 2 up to plus z by 2. So a into e raised to minus j 2 pi mu t plus vz. So we can get here a t z into sine pi mu t upon pi mu t into sine pi vz in upon pi vz. So the magnitude spectrum is given by the expression mod f mu v is equal to atz into sine pi mu t upon pi mu t into mod sine pi mu z upon pi mu z. So here figure B shows a portion of the spectrum about the origin. So as in the one dimensional case, the location of the zeros in the spectrum are inversely proportional to the values of t and z. So the larger t and z are, the more contracted of the spectrum, and it will become and vice versa. Now two-dimensional sampling and 2D sampling theorem. So in a manner similar to the one-dimensional case, the sampling in two dimensions can be modeled using the sampling function two-dimensional impulse train. So here s del t del z into t z is equal to m, the limit is minus infinite to infinite, and n is equal to limit is minus infinite to infinite into del t minus m del t z minus n z del z. So where the del t and del z are the separations between the samples along the t and z axis of the continuous function f t z. So it describes a set of periodic impulses expanding infinitely along the two axes. So here we can see that as in the one dimensional case illustrated in this figure, multiplying ftz by s del t del z ftz yields the sampled function. So the function ftz is said to be band limited if its Fourier transform is 0 outside a rectangle established by the intervals minus mu max up to plus mu max and minus v max up to plus v max. So that is f mu v is equal to 0 for mod mu which is greater than equal to mu max, and mod v is equal to which is greater than equal to v max. So the two-dimensional sampling theorem states that continuous band limited function ftz can be recovered with no error from a set of its samples if the sampling intervals are del t less than 1 upon 2 mu max and del z is less than 1 upon 2 v max, or expressed in terms of the sampling rate. So that will be 1 upon del t greater than 2 mu max and 1 upon del z greater than 2 v max. So 2D band limited continuous function is represented by sample acquired a rate greater than twice the high frequency content of the function in both mu and v directions. Now this figure shows the 2D equivalence of figure B. So a 2D ideal filter has the form illustrated in this figure. So the dashed portion of this figure shows the location of the filter to achieve the necessary isolation of a single period of the transform for reconstruction of band limited function from its samples. So from we know that the function is undersampled the period overlap and it's become impossible to isolate a single period. So now this figure shows two-dimensional Fourier transform of oversampled and undersampled band limited function. So uh, now aliasing in image. So suppose that we have in that we have a concept of aliasing to image and discuss several aspects related to the image sampling and resampling. So we have an imaging system in that it is perfect in the sense that it is noiseless and produces an exact digital image of what it sees, but the number of samples it can make it fixed at 96 into 96 pixels. So if we use this system to digitize checkerboard patterns, it will be able to resolve patterns that are up to 96 into 96 squares, in which the size of each square is 1 into 1 pixels. So in this limiting case, each pixel in the resulting image will correspond to one square in the pattern. So we are interested in examining what happens when the size of the checkboard squares is less than 1 camera pixel. So when the imaging system is asked to digitize checkboard patterns that have more than 96 into 96 squares in the field of view. So here figure A and figure B show the result of sampling checkboards whose squares are of size 16 and 6 pixel on the side respectively. These results are as expected. So when the size of the squares is reduced to slightly less than on 1 camera pixel, a severally aliased image results, which is as figure C, uh, we can see in this figure. So finally reducing the size of the squares to slightly less than 0.5 pixels on the side yielded in the figure D. So in this case the aliased result looks like a normal checkboard pattern. So in this image it will be result from sampling a checkerboard pattern. So this image square, in that squares were 12 pixels on the side. So the last image is a good reminder that the aliasing can be create results that may be quite misleading. So the effects of aliasing can be reduced by slightly defocusing in the scene to be digitized so that the high frequencies are attenuated. So this is the example of undersampling. Now the effects of the aliasing generally are understand when the size of a digital image is reduced. So here figure A, uh, in that it is an image purposely created to illustrate the effects of aliasing. So there are no objectionable artifacts in figure A, indicating that the sampling that are used intensity was sufficient to avoid visible aliasing. In figure B, the image was reduced to 50% of the original size using row column detection. The effects of the aliasing are quite visible in this image. So the digital equivalent of an anti-aliasing filtering of continuous images is to attenuate the high frequencies of a digital image by smoothing it before resampling. So here figure C shows the result of the smoothing the image in figure A by 3 into 3 averaging filter before reducing its size. So the improvements over figure B is evident. So figure B and C were resized up to their original dimensions by pixel replication of simplified comparisons. So when you work with the images that have strong edge content, the effects of aliasing are seen as a block like image components called jaggies. So this is the example of resampling. Now this figure, in this figure A shows 1024 into 1024, means 1024 into 1024 digit image of a computer generated scene in which aliasing is negligible. So figure B is the result of reducing the size of A by 75% to 256 by 256 pixels using bilinear interpolation, and then using pixel replication to bring the image back to its original size in more visible. So the effects of the aliasing can be met less objectionable by smoothing the image before resampling. So figure C is the result of the using a 5 into 5 averaging filter prior to reducing the size of the image. So as this figure shows, jaggies were reduced significantly. So the size of the reduction and increase to the original size in figure C were done using the same approach used to generate figure B. So in the previous two examples, we used pixel applications to zoom the small resampled images. So this is not a preferred approach in general manner. So here we will learn about Moiri patterns. So before we can start, it is known as Moiri patterns that sometimes result from sampling scenes with the periodic or nearly periodic components in optics. So Moiri pattern refer to the bit pattern produced between two gratings of approximately equal spacing. So these patterns are a common everyday occurrence. So we for the example, in overlapping inside window screen on the interface between TV raster lines and stripped materials in digital image processing, like this. So this figure shows the Moire effect using linked drawings that have not been digitized separately. The patterns are clean and void of interference. So it is superimposing one pattern on the other creates a beat pattern that has a frequency not a present in either of original patterns. So note in that it is particular the Moire effect produced by two patterns of dots, as this is the effect of interest in the this image. Here it is also Moire pattern formed incorrectly down sampling of the former image. Now the 2D discrete Fourier transform and its inverse. So the development similar to the material in this section would yield the following two-dimensional discrete Fourier transform DFT. F mu v is equal to limit is x is equal to 0 to m minus 1, y is equal to 0 to n minus 1 into fxy into e raised to minus j 2 pi into mu x upon m plus vy upon n, where fxy is a digital image of size m into n. As in the one-dimensional case, it can be evaluated for the values of the discrete variables u and v in the ranges mu is equal to 0, 1, 2 up to m minus 1 and v is equal to 1, 2 up to n minus 1. So given the transform f u v, we can obtain fxy by using the inverse discrete Fourier transform IDFT. So here fxy is equal to 1 upon mn, limit is u is equal to 0 to m minus 1, v is equal to 0 to n minus 1, f into uv e raised to j 2 pi into mu x upon m plus vy upon n. So for x is equal to 0, 1, 2 up to m minus 1 and y is equal to 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. So these equations are constitute the two-dimensional discrete Fourier transform pair. Thank you.